Hello, welcome to A Practical Approach to Paraphrasing, a screencast to help you with writing in your own words. In this session, we will try to understand what paraphrasing is. We'll be able to identify the core message within a text and reconstruct the paragraph with the central message embedded. We're going to consider techniques used to paraphrase, and we will consider direct and indirect citations and their place within a text. What do we mean when we talk about paraphrasing? Put simply, paraphrasing is when you use your own voice to express the meaning in someone else's writing. Paraphrasing should not resemble the original text. When you paraphrase, you demonstrate your knowledge. Paraphrasing also protects against plagiarism, and it allows you to avoid quoting excessively from texts. We're now going to consider a couple of techniques to help with paraphrasing. The first of these techniques focuses on extracting the central message. When you're reading a text, you need to read the passage several times. This is because the language can often be very difficult and it takes several readings to break the language down. You then need to take a moment to reflect on the core message of the passage. What does it actually mean? And finally, you write down this core message in your own words. Avoid writing or copying the words that are used in the original text. Use your own language and simplify the message. Activity 1. Using the 3 principles, have a go at paraphrasing this text. The second technique is tinkering. This is where you can deconstruct the original passage and play about with the wording whilst maintaining the core message. To do this, tinkering involves using a thesaurus to select a wide variety of vocabulary. It also involves going from active voice to passive voice. Have a look at the example. Nahid completed the exam to the exam was completed. It involves rearranging or reordering sentences, and you can add or omit words. By doing all of these things, you are tinkering with the actual text and you're deconstructing it and rearranging it. Activity 2. Using some or all of these techniques, have a go at paraphrasing this paragraph. This next section deals with types of citation. When you draw evidence from academic sources, you must follow Harvard referencing conventions on in-text citations. The first of these is direct citations. This is when you place the author in a strong and prominent position in your writing. For example, Huda 2018 argues that health inequalities have increased. Huda 2002 explains the attachment theory has many shortcomings. Arthur 2016 comments that Huda 2010 has overlooked 3 issues. Therefore, the use of this citation is to direct the attention to a particular author or to contrast the different views of authors. The second type of citation is indirect. Here, the citations are far more discreet when writing. Let's have a look at some examples. Hospital beds have decreased in recent years. Professional reflection is crucial to development. The rate of childhood obesity has increased. This type of reference is used for general points, and you can see that at the end of each of those sentences is the name of the author and the year of publication. This section will consider paraphrasing a quote. Students often rely on using quotes directly from the source to demonstrate their understanding of a topic. However, when you quote, you are not demonstrating your analytical skills. The next activity is all about paraphrasing a quote and demonstrating understanding and analysis. Number 1. Select a quote from the text. Write it out and explain why you think this quote is important. How does it resonate with you? What level of understanding does it bring about? Then, using the techniques outlined previously, write out your interpretation of the quote. Before you paraphrase, place an introductory sentence in front of the paraphrasing. This will contextualize the points you make in your writing, and it will signpost the reader as to what you are talking about. Have a look at the examples below. If you'd like to practice a bit more, read and paraphrase this piece of text. The key to paraphrasing this text is to break it down into two parts. It is essentially saying two things. If you want to have a look at an exemplar, have a read of the example at the bottom of the page. This is the second part of the text, and again, you can see the example at the bottom of the page. Once you've joined the two statements together, the two paraphrase statements, you'll notice how it is a lot shorter than the original piece of text. And that's because the focus has been on concentrating on the core message of the text and being economical with the wording. If you'd like to practice a little bit more, then use the structure below. 1. Include an introductory sentence telling the reader what the essence of the argument is. Then, drawing on evidence from the literature, include the central message and the central point. Finally, draw conclusions from the evidence that you've used, so you have a fully formed paragraph or point that you are making. To sum up, effective paraphrasing includes using your own voice to express meaning, establishing the core message, using a range of tools and strategies to tinker with the statement, knowing when to deploy direct and indirect citations, prefacing your paraphrasing with an introductory sentence, and being mindful of the mode of language used to paraphrase.